So, welcome to yet another episode of the Rumble. Being a program out of Chennai, one would expect, that when I actually get a dancer on my show, she would invariably be a Bharatanatyam artist. But for let's say we are being different, and I hope we continue to be different like this. I have with me a Kathak dancer. Her name is Jigyasa Patel when she started off as a young woman, and then got married, of course. She's Jigyasa Giri now. So, welcome to the show, Jigyasa.
Thank you for calling me, Madhav.
Let's face it. People out here know nothing about your specialty, which is Kathak. I mean, if they do, they probably just know a little bit.
I can disagree with you because they do know a lot about Kathak.
All right.
And the Chennai audiences or the Chennai Rasikas of art are extremely educated in what they like to see, and that is the arts. I'm talking about the arts specifically.
Performing arts.
Performing arts specifically. And of course, you know about the Margary season. But I know what you're saying by saying that
somewhat alien
it's an alien dance form.
Yes.
That is true because it has taken me 15 years to establish my dance school here.
Okay.
And when I started 15 years ago, I had 3-4 students. And a lot of people would come to me if they came to know that I'm teaching something different, and they would think I'm teaching Kathakali, which is the dance form of your state, Kerala.
That's true.
And then I would have to say that no, this is from North India, and then they would think, okay, should I not? And it was like that.
Did we have Kathak in South Indian cinema? In the early, if you look at the movies, did they have any Kathak in it? Maybe we had a lot of Muslim-dominated old stories, Mughals and all that.
There were mujras.
Yes.
All Hindi, Bollywood, and even Kollywood, even of the olden yesteryears, did use the mujra element of Kathak. Yeah. And certain elements, because see, Kathak is so fluid and lucid in its form that unless you study it, you don't realize how difficult it actually is. It looks so easy when you watch them on stage.
Yes.
So, as compared to the other dance forms that have the sitting posture and the Aramandi postures and all that, Kathak looks so natural.
Vertical all
it's
the time.
Absolutely what your biological stature is. So, it looks so easy. So there is a lot of dilution of that does happen, misuse of that, especially in light classical or in non-classical music.
Especially when film has taken it over and made it their own.
Not of late. And then in the earlier years, there used to be some very nice music and dance elements like, say, Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje, for instance, was a movie dedicated to dance and the love for classical art form.
Yes.
Gopi Krishan ji was in the movie as the hero. Sandhya acted with him, I think, yes. So those movies had the classical elements of the dance form itself and the music elements.
Oh, it's like the earlier days when they didn't
was
dilute
very nice.
It. Was
then
original.
The dilution happened.
So wasn't that a good thing that you made it more approachable to people instead of being very rigid classical form?
In a way, yes, I agree. But in a way, one wants to, when you've learned so much of the classical form, you want it to be projected in its true form.
Yeah, maybe you as a dancer would like it to stay pure and pristine. But for the man,
for the common man, one more thing about Kathak is that, however much you stick to the classical element, it is so lokadharmic in the sense that it is so connected to the audience.
Okay.
That's my experience with the dance form. I may be wrong, but that's how I feel. That it is so easy to connect with your audience if you're just there with them in mind.
Okay.
That you don't need to dilute it in order to connect to the audience.
Is there an actual storytelling that goes on within Kathak?
Yes, Katha means Katha Kahe, so Kathak, that's where it started from. So it started as a temple dance form with mime and storytelling.
So what stories were there? With all
Radha, Krishna, Shiva.
The same religious background.
Gods and goddesses.
So at what time did they go?
When the Mughals came in, they took these Kathakas into their courts for their own lavish entertainment, and they infused the beautiful Persian styles into the dance form. Yeah. And therein came the romance in the dance, the ghazals, the tumris. And
so before the tumri being part of the main music to which this was danced to, what were the kind of songs? This is like classical khayals and...
classical khayals, tumris were there. There was bhajan. There was natya element, which was the dance drama element.
Yes. So what stories were there in Kathak? If you remember offhand? I've never heard of them. I've never thought.
I wouldn't really know offhand, but there were stories and dance dramas of gods and goddesses. Yes, of course.
Or is it just musical bits that you teach them?
No, it is always being taught because you have to start with teaching from where it began.
Okay.
So you can modernize yourself or dance how much ever you want, but you have to go back to your root.
Does it have a serious religious content to it? Like Bharatanatyam, for example,
I would think that Bharatanatyam has more of a religious grounding or devotional element to it. They
invoke the gods almost.
We also invoke the gods in Kathak.
Within the dance form?
Of course. We start always with a Vandana or a Stuti.
Okay.
And then we move on to the other elements of the dance form.
Yeah. Isn't that the performance part?
Yes, I'm talking about the performance part.
But in the story itself, there's no need that you progress from a Vandana into something, into invocation to that.
In the story, in the sense, no. If I'm doing a story of a Mughal emperor, and that is what the whole 1.5 hour performance is about. Okay. Then I don't need to start.
Tell me one story. We hear stories about Bagmati and all the other.
Yes.
Are those the kind of stories that are done for
historical stories?
So it's basically love stories between.
Yes, love stories, stories of valor, stories of deceit, stories of conceit.
And so when you came here, did you find the local audiences having a little, mystified about it, or they took to it like?
I'll tell you what happened. When I started, I was much younger, obviously 15 years ago. I was 30, 35. So, in fact, I had this very strange, cute experience where a young mother brought her very young child to me to say that she wanted to learn dance because she heard that someone was teaching Kathak and she was from North India. So when I opened my door and she says, Kathak teacher se milna hai. So I said, हाँ मैं हूँ. She says, इतने young? नहीं बाबा नहीं चाहिए. So, that was a very cute experience I had actually. And I said, okay. So they here you also look for a certain image in a dance teacher.
So you heard it from her. That's when she walked in, she found a little bit of I wouldn't say resistance, but they must have been a little mystified. Who was this young lady coming teaching something completely different? So when we come back, let's ask her, how does she actually set up a stall? She actually runs a school today.